Hey there, gang. Time for another comic book unboxing video. I've got a box here that I need to grade for sale on eBay, and as always, I wait and I don't pull anything out of the box until I turn the camera on. I wait for you to get here so that we can experience that sense of awe and discovery together, because you never know what we're going to find in one of these boxes. So if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. So, yeah, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the groovy things. Not going to waste any time. Let's get right into it. Other than to quickly mention the Halloween mystery boxes that we have for sale right now. You can find those on the sellmycomicbooks.com web store. There's a link in the description below and also in the first comment. So go and snatch those up if you enjoy this channel, if you support it. The best way to demonstrate that support is to go and get yourself one of those groovy Halloween mystery box sets. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. We'll grab the first stack out of the box. And look at that, right off the bat. Something that there's a lot of in those Halloween mystery boxes because it is all monsters and ghosts and ghouls and that kind of thing. Giant-sized Man-Thing. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And it looks like there's at least 2 books in this bag. Let's see here. Take that bag out. There's number 3. A little Gil Kane action here. Some Lady Barbarian. And there is number 4. And these are fairly square spines. The giant-sized Marvels of the 1970s. And I think by the 70s, both Marvel and DC were being printed at the World Color Press in Sparta, Illinois. If you know different, let me know in the comments below. But for some reason, the Marvels, they're notorious for having these crushed spines, and I believe that's how they came off the press. For the most part, in some cases, it's handling from young, enthusiastic buyers who maybe love their comic books a little too much. But Marvel, more than DC during the 70s, had that problem with the crushed spines, and I believe both companies were printing their books at the same place. Although DC didn't do quite as many of these giant-sized books during the 70s. They did have the 100-page super spectaculars, but I don't know. I don't know why Marvel is. You see, like here, see how that's all kind of crushed in, and I think that's just how it came off the press. Here is number 2, giant-sized Man-Thing. Just 1 book in that bag. Oh, look, here is Man-Thing number 1. What a great cover by Frank Brunner. That is just that would make me want to pick that book right up off the stands. You know, and I'm a big fan of cover captions, word balloons. You know, that's kind of passé having word balloons on a cover these days. But yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But this one works. It is just so evocative and creepy that it just pulls you in, even without any kind of word balloon and just this little bit of a caption down here. And frankly, this little caption down here kind of detracts a bit from the cover. So this is one that definitely would have worked as just the poster image. Incredible Hulk number 200. Now there are people that actually collect what they call floating head covers, and this is like the mother of all floating head covers. That's a Mofk, M-O-F-K, mother of Mofek. Mofek? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Mother of all floating head covers. Pronounce it how you like. And it looks like there's a couple of books in here as well, or is this 2 different bags? It's 2 different bags. Here's something else there's a lot of in those Halloween mystery boxes. Werewolf by Night. This is number 10. Nice Mike Plug art. Doctor Strange number 1. For some reason, this particular book seems to be taking off. The last few issues of this that we've sold on eBay. And that's where all these books are going, is on eBay, what we call raw singles, single book lots. The seller name is .com Comics. And the last few copies of this we've sold have hit triple digits. So that's cool. And again, that's some nice Frank Brunner art. We've got several books in this bag, and I'm betting they're all Captain Marvel. Let's see what we've got here. There's the Avengers and Drax and Star Fox. Everybody. Big old jam cover. The most cosmic superhero of all. And here is a little cosmic punch action. Thanos cover. That one is a popular book. That one does well. And these are pretty high grade. These are, you know, in the 7.75, possibly 8 region. I'll know more once I do the full grading. This one is a classic cover. And here's another one that's popular because of the Thanos cover. And here we have Iron Man, and again it looks like there's 2 books per bag here. There's number 48 and number 42. Princess Python, number 60. I think we've got 3 books in this bag. Number 53. This asshole. I did a whole video just on this guy. I would love to know who he is. Is he just a stock model? Actually, that's not the same asshole. That's a different asshole. That is a different grinning asshole. That's not the usual one. But I always wondered if that's just a stock photo or if it was a photo taken specifically for this ad. If maybe that's somebody who worked for the company, the LaSalle Extension University. Was it a correspondence courses? Those were big advertisers during this period, or was it a student or something? I don't know. But the asshole I'm thinking of is a different asshole. This is a different guy. So there are at least 2 assholes. Oh my goodness! I just realized I'm not really dressed for this video. All right, let's get that Legion flight ring on. All right, now we're loaded up and good to go. Cooking with gas, as they say. All right. Multiples in this one? Nope. Just 2. So there's Iron Man number 62 with Whiplash. And I don't know how much how much a bullwhip should affect a man in an iron suit, but I don't know. Of course, we know it was electrified, but just that cover is kind of ridiculous. Dr. Spectrum, I always liked Dr. Spectrum. Liked all of the Squadron Sinister, the Squadron Supreme, but Dr. Spectrum especially. He just had kind of a cool costume, I thought. Number 64. And number 65. And reportedly, Iron Man was a low seller during this period, kind of often on the brink of cancellation. This is George Tuska art, I can tell. And I'm a big fan of Tuska. I didn't really like Tuska much when I was a kid in the 70s. Of course, he was at the end of his career at that point. And a lot of artists, Ditko, Kirby, Don Heck, Kurt Swan, a lot of them, towards the end of their career, they started to get, I don't know, less dynamic. It's like they had drawn the same thing the same way 1,000 times, and they were just working on muscle memory to a large degree. But I learned to appreciate George Tuska. Even so, though, I'm not sure that he was best suited to Iron Man. He had a pretty long run on Iron Man, but his stuff was more moody, more evocative, maybe less fit for superheroes and more so for like crime dramas and things like that. But anyway, what do you think? Were you a fan of George Tuska? Did you not like him? Do you even know who he is? Apparently, he was just a giant mountain of a man. And they say very handsome and very shy. There's a Will Eisner, because he started out in the Will Eisner studio. And one of Will Eisner's autobiographical graphic novels, I don't know if it's To the Heart of the Storm or The Dreamer, but there's a character in one of them that is said to be based on George Tuska. And he's just this big, giant, shy guy in the studio. Giant Size Fantastic Four. And another one right there, number 3. Marvel Spotlight number 1. Spotlight on Red Wolf. There you go. And I'm surprised Red Wolf didn't really take off. Luke Cage, Power Man. Of course, he went through kind of an identity crisis, being first Hero for Hire and then Power Man. Cottonmouth. I don't know. There's something kind of vaguely racist about the name Cottonmouth. I think so anyway. But I don't really know. And here's some more Cottonmouth. Sweet Christmas. Here we are. Here's back during the Hero for Hire era. And I think Hero for Hire, it lasted 17 issues, and then it became Power Man, and then, of course, it became Power Man and Iron Fist. Were there 2 books in there? Oh, no, we already saw that one. Marvel Premiere, Monarch Starstalker. That's a mouthful, isn't it? I don't know that anything ever became of him. Marvel 2-in-1 with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I always enjoyed Marvel 2-in-1, maybe more so than, well, not maybe, definitely more so than Marvel Team Up. I think so. Were you a kid reading in the Bronze Age? What did you think? Did you prefer Marvel 2-in-1 or Marvel Team Up? Or even if reading those books now, which one do you prefer? Here's a Thing in Daredevil, and there are 2 books in here, but they're both facing the same way, so we got to take them out to see them. Here's Captain America. Thing and Man-Thing, look at that. Marvel 2-in-1 number 1. Very nice. And I always laugh at this cover because, Man-Thing is usually green, but it's like, is there a drought or something going on? Because he's brown on this cover. And of course you've got the brown and the orange and the red, and I don't know. I think from a distance, well, no, the Bronze Age covers, just like Silver Age and Golden Age covers, they still read well from a distance. Modern covers, you stand back 10 feet and squint, and everything is just mud. But this you could still make out, even though all the colors are kind of similar. There's another book in here. Is it another number 1? Oh, I guess I could have just turned it over. They were both facing the opposite way. Number 2, Submariner with that goofy wing costume that he wore for a while there. Marvel Feature. So before Marvel Team Up, they had the Thing in Marvel Feature doing team ups there. That was kind of, I guess, a tryout for his own title. But really, I mean, Marvel Feature effectively got canceled and just became Marvel 2-in-1. But instead of continuing the numbering, as they often did in this era, they did go ahead and give it a new number 1. So they had a lot of confidence in the Thing, and rightly so. And this is the first of the Thing team ups, the Thing and the Hulk, all-time classic. So it started with number 11 and ran to, I don't know, what was it, 15, 16? And then started, rebooted with Marvel 2-in-1. And why they did that, I don't know. Why did they not just continue Marvel Feature instead of Marvel 2-in-1? I mean, effectively, it's the same thing. There's really no difference between this and this. And it's not like Marvel Feature continued on as a title. It basically got replaced on the schedule by Marvel 2-in-1. So why did they change it to Marvel 2-in-1 instead of just keeping Marvel Feature? Probably they thought it was a good idea to sort of highlight the idea that there were going to be 2 superheroes in every book. I don't know. Strange Tales. This is an early Brother Voodoo. What did he first start in? 168, 169? I forget the exact issue number, but this is an early one. And it's funny, he's very popular and has come back in recent years, but for a long time, decades, they tried to kind of bury Brother Voodoo, sweep him under the rug as being vaguely racist. Blaxploitation, I guess is the word. But He's come on big in recent years. Here is the first issue of Master of Kung Fu. Now, see this one. This was Special Marvel Edition, and Shang-Chi made his first appearance in number 15. Then there was 16, and then they converted it over to, giving it the title over to him completely, The Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. But they did not start over with a number 1. In this case, they continued the numbering, and these books were, same era, the 20-cent era. So why did they give The Thing a new number 1, but not Shang-Chi? Probably because they thought that he needed the benefit of that higher issue number, which, we've talked about this a lot in recent videos. At that time, distributors, dealers, retailers, always wary of a number 1, a new untested product. But The Thing was popular enough, they probably figured they could get away with a number 1. Here's Strange Tales with Warlock. Some more Warlock. And here is some more Warlock. Jim Starlin. Nice, amazing Spider-Man. That's in pretty good shape for number 2, 1965. The annual. There's annual number 4. Annual number 5. This is the first appearance of Peter Parker's parents. That's them here, these little outlines. And here's some regular Amazing Spider-Man, number 76. Number 75. Kazar, number 57. It's quite a leap he's taken. And how did that tiger get up at the top of that building? The Spider Slayer suit. Very nice. Some Doc Ock action in number 53. Some more Doc Ock, 55. What else we got going on here? Number 52. And for some reason, I don't know, Spider-Man was always getting stuck in flooded basements. That was like a trope, a motif of the era. There's number 49 with one of the various vultures. Number 48. Craven, popular cover. And Ditko is gone at this point, but that still looks like a Ditko corner box here. Oh, look, we got 2 of them. Nice. Nice. 46 with the Shocker. Actually, no, I guess that does look redrawn. That's maybe not a Ditko. That spine's a little rough. Here we've got the Lizard. Gotta love the Lizard. Ant-Man. Hank Pym had a short run here in Marvel Feature before it was given over to Thing team-ups. And eventually they gave him his suit back. At first, they tried to run him as like a Doc Savage kind of adventure character, and he was just in like a regular suit. Then they gave him the helmet, and then they put him back in the full costume. Warlock in his own series. The Power of Warlock. Nice Jim Starlin work. Somebody corrected me in a recent video in the comments section, and please always don't be afraid. I get compliments, and I'm very appreciative of that, of people who say, "Oh, you know so much, you're so great," and I'll never deny it, except that it's really not true. I probably have forgotten as much as I ever knew. But in a recent video, I was referring to this as Gamora. That's not Gamora. It's just some random chick. and you can go back probably and find the comment, and the person explained who this was. But anyway, I was wrong. That's not Gamora on there. I actually, one of these days, I'm going to have to, I've handled these books enough. I've graded enough of these. One of these days, I'm going to have to go in and actually read these Warlock issues because though it's a little bit before my time. I came along right at the end of the 25-cent era. The first books I bought were 25 centers, but really 30, 35, 40 cents, that's my golden age. And so those books predate me a little bit. And I don't think I have. I've got a couple of those issues, but I've never read them. It's stuff I've picked up in large lots that I've purchased. Thor number 246. So I'm gonna have to complete that run and sit down and read it myself at some point. Here's number 245, 188, 193, and this is the lone 25 center. I've told this story before, but Marvel and DC were both 15 cents. There was an agreement they were going to go to 25 cents. The idea was that comic books were losing rack space. In this era, the early 70s, corporate America was coming in and buying up the mom and pop shops, and of course they were dedicated to the bottom line. And comic books were they took up a lot of floor space for very little return. You didn't make a lot of profit. It was a couple of pennies per comic book, and so they started to fade by the wayside as these corporate entities started doing away with magazine racks, or at least comic books on the magazine racks, favoring the magazines that were higher priced and brought a little bit more money. And so the idea was that they would go to a higher package that would give the retailer, a higher price package that would give the retailer a little bit more money and maybe incentivize them to retain that rack space. And so Marvel and DC were both going to go up to 25 cents and justify that by having a larger package. And this is really something you see this even today, even to this day. You see that Marvel, DC, other publishers are playing with larger formats, larger price points, bigger books, really just as a way of having something that's more substantial, that gives the retailer a little bit more of an oomph for the space that the books take up. And but anyway, that was the theory. But Marvel immediately reneged. They did 1 month at the 25 cents and then went back to 20 cents. And so you had for about, a little over a year, you had DC on the stands at 25 cents and the Marvels were 20 cents. They went back to the regular size at 20 cents. So they were making more money and the retailer was making more money, and yet it was less than DC was charging. And it was at that point that Marvel finally overtook DC in terms of sales and has never really looked back. Very rarely has relinquished that number one spot. So anyway, there's that story. Demon number 1, that's a nice book, and that's a pretty nice looking example. Back cover's a little tanning, but Adventure into Fear, or in the indicia, it's just Fear with Man-Thing. This predates his solo series that we saw here at the beginning. And this is the first appearance of Howard the Duck. He's not named in this issue, but it's clearly him. You couldn't mistake him for anybody else. But this Adventure into Fear, or again, the official title is just Fear, number 19. That's the first appearance of Howard the Duck. Black Panther number 1, this series by Jack Kirby, had a short run, only 15 issues. And he only lasted for the first several. Catwoman didn't appear a lot in the Silver Age, but here she is, and a different costume for her than probably anything that you might recognize, although she is recognizably Catwoman, although it looks like she's going to take over as Batwoman. Oh no, this isn't Catwoman. Excuse me, I misspoke. This is in fact Batwoman in a Catwoman suit, but not like she's making out to be Catwoman. She's being a Catwoman, a female version of Catman, the villain. And this was confusing if you were a longtime comic book reader at this point, although at this point in the Silver Age, the readers are mostly kids, and the readership turned over every 3 to 5 years. Very rarely did you have the adult readers like you do today, who started out as kids and just forgot to outgrow them. But there was a Catman superhero in a very similar yellow and orange costume. I don't think he had the CM on his chest. But that was Holyoke, a small publisher, and his sidekick, he had his own kind of Robin sidekick, except his was a young girl named Kitten. So it was Catman and Kitten. And so it looked very, very similar when DC developed a Catman villain to face Batman. And Catwoman was used rarely enough during the Silver Age that, Batwoman takes on a Catwoman identity to team up with Catman, and nobody was like, "Oh my God, this is Catwoman. What happened to Selina Kyle?" Because she wasn't really around all that much. Here is, and see now, these spines here on the DC square-bound books of this era, much nicer than the Marvel giant-size books. But this is a DC 100-page super spectacular edition of Detective Comics, number 438. And I love these. I came along just as these were fading out. And I did, as a kid, score some as back issues here and there, traded with friends or lawn sales or different outlets. There weren't a lot of places that sold, at least in Central Maine, that sold back issue comic books. You had to, score them through, private means. There weren't a lot of retailers selling old comic books. But when I could score one of these, I loved it because you had all of these backup stories, reprints, but new to me, and a lot of Golden Age characters. Now, these are all mostly Silver Age reprints. That Hawkman might be a Golden Age. I don't really remember this particular issue. But discovered a lot of characters and a lot of things through these 100-page super spectaculars. I see here in Kid Eternity, that was a quality comic of the Golden Age. Quality Comics being the publisher. So there's 439, 440. These are in pretty nice shape. These should do very, very well on eBay because, again, although the Marvel giant-size books of the Bronze Age seem to come off the presses with the spines crushed, both Marvel and DC, these particular kinds of books, they survived in high grade much less frequently than regular comics because just reading them, was an act of vandalism. You couldn't read one of these without doing some damage to them. So there's 442. Nice, cool cover here. Oh no, Bat Murderer. Batman becomes Bat Murderer. And before the 100-page giants in the Silver Age, you had the 80-page giants. And those were all reprints. There's the moment that changed my life. This one is popular because it reprints the first appearance of Poison Ivy. This one's in rough shape, though. Wow. And here's a kind of a later early Bronze Age version of those. And here's a Giant Batman Annual. Very nice. This one was originally sold in the United Kingdom. You can see that it's got a price stamp there. And let's keep on trucking. Looks like we've got some more Giant Batman Annuals. There's number 7. And there's a 100-page super spectacular. A little bit of everything on here, huh? You got Plastic Man, the Doom Patrol, Sargon the Sorcerer. We can't. This is a wraparound cover. We can't see it because of the backing board, but that is a wraparound cover on that one. I think this one. I don't think this one had a wraparound. The origin of Two-Face, the end of Two-Face. Well, there you go. How it started and how it's going. That's a meme right there. Moon of the Wolf. Huh. And see, this is the Catwoman costume of the Bronze Age, of the early Bronze Age anyway, and in the Silver Age as well, the late Silver Age. That's what she wore. But you didn't have a lot of Catwoman at this period. There's a nice one right there, number 257 of Batman. We're getting towards the end of the box. Matter of fact, this is the last stack. This one went fairly quick. Other than my long and meandering stories that I've mostly told before in past videos, but not as many actual individual books in this box. Here's The Shadow. The Shadow had a series at DC Comics at this time, so this was probably meant to kind of help promote that a little bit. But with all the giant size books, not as many individual issues in this box. So this video has gone a little quicker. Oh, look at this, Blue Beetle. Nice. Nice. And this is the origin of the Blue Beetle. Plus it's got Steve Ditko's The Question in it. And the Blue Beetle was a little funny with the numbering from Charlton, because the original Dan Garrett Blue Beetle, they revived that, just basically pulled it out of public domain. I don't think they really bought the rights to it or anything. But anyway, they had like a series that started with an issue number 1, and there were a few issues, and then it got canceled. And then they restarted it, taking the numbering from something else, and it picks up at number 50. And then there's like half a dozen issues, and then it got another number 1. And of course, Charlton's didn't have issue numbers on the covers in this period. So I don't know what actual issue number this is. Here's a Captain Atom. That's nice. And this one does have a little number 86 here. And you've got a Blue Beetle in the backup. And I think Blue Beetle, the Steve Ditko version, the Ted Cord Blue Beetle that you are probably more familiar with, I think he did start as a backup in Captain Atom. And of course, this is the new Ditko designed Captain Atom costume. And this is a nice book. This is sort of tied with the first appearance of the Selena Wayne version of the Huntress. She also appeared this same week this came out in an issue of All-Star Comics. And this is her origin. She was the daughter of the Earth 2, the Golden Age, Batman and Catwoman. And this particular issue also has the origin of Green Arrow and the first case of the Legion of Superheroes. So this is something that is on my list. Actually, I have a copy of this issue, but this is on my list as a Legion collector. But also I'm a big fan of the original Huntress. So here's Sandman number 25 and number 10. I think it's going to be Sandman the rest of the way through, number 13. And these don't do quite as well. And the price guides would indicate that these should do very well, but they kind of don't. And I think that's because, you know, rather than buying the individual issues, a lot of people just pick up the trades. Here's number 2. That's cool. So we got a number 1 in here? No, this is number 3. And I forget which issues it is. 2, 3, 4, 6. You've got first appearances of Death, of Destiny. Well, of Destiny, other members of the Dreaming. What issue number is this? It's hard to read. I can't even see it. Oh, number 5. Number 6. And number 9. And that's it. That's everything in that box. And golly, poor Superman, I guessed wrong again. One of these days, I'm going to guess right, and I'm going to have the right action figure that all the books in that box are going to be comics featuring that character. But very little of Superman this time out. But that's okay. I had fun. I hope you had fun. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it all again. And until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.